Hi, I'm Daria Bogdanova, a landscape design student and the person behind Daria Draw in Instagram. Today I'm going to show you how to draw a whipping tree form like this one, and we're also going to do some warm-up exercises. You can use any pen and paper you have today because it's for practice, but I also show what kind of pens I'm using. Let's start. So this is my reference tree. It's a birch or Betula pendula. I reduce opacity and I'll show you quickly what I was thinking when I was drawing this tree. I draw the trunk and I will draw only the lower branches, so we don't need to show that much. And also the black marks, they are really important. Now it looks already like a birch. A few branches here and there randomly, and the light from the top right corner, which means that the right side will be really open. Don't close it with the lines. And then the left side, because it's like in the shadow, there I will put more branches. And like that it looks, in my opinion, more naturalistic, even though it's quite abstract. I will add a few branches here and there, a little bit maybe in the center. Let's see, I correct something maybe. A little bit more branches, and I don't like this one, so I'll just reduce a little bit. Okay, so that's the tree. I already have the tree here and a few warm-up lines, and we draw together another tree here. This is my pen. It's Micron 35 millimeters. Do you say micron? No. Other brands, Pelikan, Bic, or Artline, they're all good, and it can be maybe 40 millimeters. I like fineliners because they really let you learn from mistakes because you cannot erase. Relax your arm and your hand and start making a line. It's a bit like a nervous line, so just like that. You can break it a little bit maybe from time to time. You can make it like a bit curvier. Make it looks like two branches go from one spot. And then you can also add like an arc line to show a branch. Something like that. You can add some line weight if you just go over one line again. And like that you can suggest some volume. Don't draw continuous lines. They are good lines, but not here, so try not to use them today. So, they'll start with the trunk. It's about 3 to 4 centimeters long and 1 centimeter thick, but will depend on the size of your paper, and you can really change the proportions the way you want it. I will add some line weight so that it pops a little bit, and of course I'll add the black marks, because without them I think you can make actually another tree, maybe a willow. The crown will be about 2/3 of the trunk. Again, you can make it much bigger or much smaller, because this is quite an abstract tree. Make little arcs to show the branches here and there randomly. You can always add more as you go. And then just start drawing the lines that we just practiced. I'll start from the more dense part. And I repeat and repeat, but I try to make them really varied. And I try Yeah, I tried to change the direction a little bit, and it's sometimes really funny that it's much easier to make a continuous line than a line that looks a bit different from the next line. But with practice, it really gets easy. And on the right side, just remember, don't get carried away, don't make too many lines. Less is more. The more open you actually manage to keep it, the better it is. You need to show the outline. But well, that's it. And as you go, just see where you need maybe to add some more to keep it really balanced. Maybe a little bit here. Okay. That looks pretty good. I just add maybe a bit more on the left side. And a bit more of line weight. It's amazing how line weight is really making difference. And it's really easy. I hope you enjoy this little tutorial and you will try it on your own. And now as an extra we can draw another tree using absolutely the same principles. We'll start doing some doodles and then we draw this conifer tree. Pretty simple. Let's first establish our light from the left side. So this will mean that our left side has way more light than the right side. Alright, the doodles are very simple, just little strokes. You can go from the bottom up, and again you just make them random. The next one is accordion stroke or line, almost like you're drawing the grass. One of my favorite lines actually. I think it has a lot of usage in landscape graphics. You can use it for vegetation or for different textures. So, and it's very easy to draw it. Again, remember just to change direction. I know I repeat this a lot, but I hope you will remember it after this tutorial really well. So now we change a bit to another doodle. You can always pause the recording and just try for yourself a few times. Those doodles, they just be repeated over and over and over again. So you better be quite confident with them. You can go over this doodle again for the extra line weight, as you already learned. And by the way, I'm drawing with the Pelican pen that I was showing you already. And it's 40mm nib. Okay. By the way, you can also try to draw it with a pencil first, and you can really draw just a very small tree, just to get confident with proportions, and it's a bit easier to draw it like a thumbnail sort of. Just repeat the shape, a bit like a cup, a bit like a drop, like a water drop, I would say, and just a bit of an outline, and kind of doing the same doodles with a pencil, but of course it looks a little bit different. But again, as you see, you can also very well draw with a pencil. It will just look a bit different, kind of different style. Okay, back to the pen, and first the stem or the trunk, and I'll draw right away some dry branch, as it quite often happens to conifer trees. And they get older and they don't get enough light, so because of the lower branches that give the shadow. I'll add some texture, and I'll draw a little bit like entourage, some grass around. Just pretty easy, but kind of can establish the look a little bit. But it's pretty nice. And then I just make my outline with little dots, so then it's really easy to correct it if you think that you want to correct it. Just like little dots and making a huge water drop, I would say. So you can make it a bit wider if you feel like it. And then just, well, let's do those doodles. And again, you can first make sort of very lightly the whole thing and do it like waves. Avoid doing a straight line because then it's, well, would look a little bit funny. So it would be much easier to make a straight line, but yeah, that wouldn't look good. So I kind of go randomly here and there, trying to establish the randomness. This maybe takes a little bit of patience, but I think it also makes quite a good exercise. So you can really, really remember how you do it, and you will add it to your visual memory. So repetition in this case is pretty good. And of course, it really depends how you want to draw it. You can make just a few actually doodles to show the outline, and it depends how much time and how much effort you would like to dedicate to your drawing. So do you want to go to show more detail or a bit less detail? It's always possible just to do it the way you want it. And I just show you a bit like a principle and how I do it. But it would be really great if you just really let yourself go and try to do it your style. And yeah, sometimes, especially if you're drawing outside, maybe it's better not to go into the detail right away. So you can just make some plain outlines, and then later, if you feel like it, you can draw it again and put a bit more detail. I normally like my drawings to be quite fast, so but again, this is of course still not a super detailed drawing anyway. And I just build it up more and more. And it kind of really looks like I'm almost like making a sculpture. That kind of reminds me that. And yeah, left side is gonna be much lighter. So avoid putting too many doodles on that side. I can correct also as I go when I notice that it would look better if I add a little bit there and a little bit there. I would also say that maybe it's a pretty big drawing, so you probably can draw it a little bit faster than me. And you can always fast forward. I don't mind. But I think it looks already pretty good. Yeah, I really like the shape of this one. And I have to admit, like, this kind of doodle works also quite well if you want to draw a bush. So just, well, you don't have to draw it as a tree, just don't draw a trunk. Make a shape a little bit around it, and well, then you get actually something else. Yeah, I think it's almost ready. Here is a moment when I'm like, okay, maybe that's enough, or maybe I should continue and add a little bit more here and there. And so it's a bit of a critical moment when you can always get a little bit too much work done, and then you think like, I wish I have stopped a bit earlier. Well, that's okay. Anyway, that's just an exercise. Yeah, so while I'm putting all those little details, I just say that I would recommend to try to draw these trees in different sizes. Maybe try to draw a few of them like a group, and you can try also to overlap them. Maybe means that you can put one tree behind another tree. So yeah, a group of three. It's a good number in landscape design actually. Number like of 3 or 5 or 7, so they work very well. And if you put a bit different sizes, that also gives more interest and a bit of a like even perspective to your drawing. Let's just add some line weight over here and some little extra dots just to make it a bit less perfect. That's it. Great. See more of my tips on my Daripod drawing Instagram. Thanks for watching.